At 31,000 feet, a kid started screaming the kind of sound that cuts right through your bones, and every head in first class turned like the plane had tilted. Phones came up, sighs came out. You know what I mean. I was row 19C on my first flight ever, name's Jalen. Broke high school kid with a backpack and a busted little blue pickup in my pocket. And up there near the curtain, a man in a perfect blazer kept saying, "Noah, eyes on me, breathe." We talked about this voice steady, like a boardroom, and not at all like a dad, while his boy pressed both palms over his ears, like he was trying to hold the sky out of his head. A flight attendant named Brenda had that hospital smile, the one that says we're at the edge of the manual. Somebody whispered, sedation, like it was a life hack. The guy with the gold watch muttered about paying $5,000 for quiet, and that's when I recognized it. Not bad parenting, not a tantrum. Overload, bright light, engine roar, bodies too close. The same storm that takes my cousin TJ down in the cereal aisle. And I heard my mom in my head saying, "Courage isn't the opposite of fear. It's moving while you're scared." So I stood. Not dramatic, just stood and said, "I think I can help if that's okay." And the dad looked at me like a man who's good at everything, except the one thing that matters, and nodded, tiny and broken. And I crouched low, so I wasn't one more big thing. And I set that bent axle pickup on the tray table and gave it the smallest push. It rolled and hooked right and stopped. Noah's eyes followed it without moving his head. I pulled it back and pushed again. Same curve, same stop. Rhythm is a rope you can throw to someone who's drowning. "You can drive if you want," I whispered, and he put 2 fingers on the roof like it was made of fire, then pushed, and the scream collapsed into a harsh breath. Brenda dimmed the row light because I asked what color apple juice is, and he said yellow, and I said gentle yellow, not bright yellow, and she got it. The gold watch guy threw me a look, and I said, "Quiet isn't something you buy, man. It's something we give each other, yeah." That happened, and the cabin eased like a crowded room after somebody opens a window. The dad said his name was Cole, not CEO, not anything with commas. Just Cole, and his shoulders dropped when I tapped a pattern on my knee. 5 fast, 4 slow. And Noah mirrored it, pretzel salt glittering on his fingertips. First, a ghost smile, then a real one tiny as a paper cut. And I saw it land in Cole's chest, like a clean breath after years of shallow ones. "You met him where he is," he said, half amazed, half ashamed. And I told him the truth. I didn't fix anything. I made the world smaller and softer, and let him choose. When the turbulence clipped us over Nebraska, Noah stiffened. I shifted an inch to be a windbreak. "Skies just got potholes," I said, and he went back to our pattern. We landed to that fake calm where everyone pops up at once, and Noah hesitated over the truck like it was oxygen. "Jalen can hold it while we walk," he told his dad, then changed his mind, then changed it again, then set the truck on the tray, and nodded like a scientist signing off on his own experiment. And I swallowed, because sometimes a nod is the most expensive thing in the world. We got off into Denver gray, and the sky threw a tantrum, lightning at the windows. All flights grounded for hours, groans rolling across the lounge like a sports crowd. And you could feel the old judgment rising again, the "what if he screams?" Here, the "what if this ruins my day" thing people pretend is about rules, not fear. Noah's shoulders crept up, Cole's hand hovered. I asked Brenda for a spare blanket and 2 chairs and built a little fort. New rule: when the world gets too big, we make it smaller. And he crawled in and tapped the seat frame 5 and 4, and I matched him on the outside so he could feel the rhythm through metal. And Cole watched like Google had never taught him anything that mattered. Twist came fast. Another kid across the room started keening. Same pitch, same panic. His parents looked 7 hours deep into an ER night. Not mean just done, and before I could move, Noah slid out of the blanket fort, and sat down on the carpet, a few feet away, no touching. No big voice, just the truck, the smallest push hook right. Stop, the other kid's sob hitched. Noah flipped the truck without the boy noticing, so it would curve left next time. You can make it go the other way, he said. And when the kid laughed through tears, hiccup, and all the whole space breathed like someone had put a hand on its back and told it to ease up. Gold watch guy wandered past with his roller and stopped. Said I was rude. No excuse, no PR voice, just that, and I said, "Thanks for staying." And he gave me a two-finger salute, like a man practicing a new muscle, and strangers we'd never see again started being neighbors. A clinic guy slipped me a card for my mom's chemo. A woman told Brenda she didn't know she could ask to dim lights. Brenda smiled like it's always been allowed, folks. You just have to ask. Hours dragged, stale pretzels and bad coffee, Noah asleep with the truck tucked under his chin like a puppy. And Cole and I sat with paper cups and the kind of quiet that doesn't need to be filled. He finally asked if I was traveling alone because of something hard. I told him lymphoma makes time weird, and Aunt Pam's pull-out couch is home for now. He stared into his coffee and said, "Teach me how to listen on purpose," and I said, "Start by turning the phone off," and he literally powered it down like a man in a ceremony. Some video of the little truck had already made its way online. Not the scream, not the worst part, the fixable part. Captions about a kid saving first class with a toy car, comments. Fighting in the way comments do, somebody wrote. That first class should be child-free, somebody else said. Disability isn't a debate. And the only one that stuck to my ribs was a woman saying, "Last month I needed one person not to stare, whoever you are, thank you." A week later, Denver was a memory, and I was doing math with grocery coupons when Cole texted, said they were in Aurora, and did I want to meet at the park with the tiny train that loops a duck pond. Noah came with headphones decorated like stars and handed me a crisp envelope with a drawing. A plane with a blanket fort over the middle seats and big letters that said, "Make the world smaller when it gets too big." And he let me keep the truck a little longer because he liked the idea that he and I could both be driving at the same time, even if we were in different places. Cole waited until Noah ran for the swings, then took a breath like a diver standing on cold steel. "I started a fund," he said, "sensory tools, travel support. No strings, your name's on it, because it doesn't exist without you." And I stared at the pond so I wouldn't cry for the ducks, and said only if my mom's name is there too, because she's the one who taught me to show up. And he smiled like a man who had finally put down a plank he'd been holding over his head. Yeah, that happened. A reporter reached out later and asked if I thought Cole was using me for PR. An airline podcast wanted me to rank types of crying. Someone else asked if we should have been kicked off for the many, and I told all of them the same thing. This wasn't a brand story or a policy test. It was a boy on fire and another boy with a paper cup of water. A dad who's great at winning. Learning how to sit still, a room full of strangers deciding to be a neighborhood for 2 hours. If that's controversial, then maybe that's the point. I still keep that blue truck on my shelf next to a folded scrap that says 5 fast, 4 slow some nights. I'm scared about bills and cancer, and the way grown-up problems show up like thunder you didn't order, and I flick on the gentle yellow lamp and roll the truck in a slow left curve and listen for the quiet between taps, because that quiet, I swear, belongs to anybody willing to make it. So tell me if you had been in that cabin. Would you demand silence or offer a rhythm? Should a premium seat buy you freedom from other people, or a front row seat to the best parts of them? Drop a comment. Argue with me, tell me where I'm wrong, tell me about the time a small choice changed, a loud room, and if you've been the one people stared at or the one who stared, talk to each other down there. I'll be reading, I'll be learning, and if this hit a nerve, share it with the person who needs a softer world today.